Lily's sickness grew worse every night, but no doctor could explain why a healthy child would suddenly gasp for air the moment she entered her bedroom. One night, while the whole mansion slept, Mia heard Lily crying softly, the kind of cry that comes from fear, not pain. She rushed in and found the little girl sitting up in bed, shaking, pointing under the mattress. "It's there," Lily whispered. "It keeps calling my name." Mia felt her body freeze, because the air in the room was heavy, and a cold wind moved under the bed even though the windows were shut. Something dangerous was hiding in that darkness, something that wanted Lily weak and helpless. And Mia knew that if she did not find out what it was, this child might not see another morning. The morning looked calm outside the Reeves mansion, but inside the house, something felt heavy. The walls stood tall, the floors shined, the decorations looked expensive, but the air inside carried a quiet sadness. It was the kind of sadness that sits in a home for too long, the kind that makes every room feel colder than it should. Mia Carter stood in the hallway with her hands together, her heart unsure, her mind trying to understand the new place she had just entered. She had been hired only a day ago, and everything around her still felt strange. The housekeeper walked her through the rooms, talking fast, showing her where things were kept, but Mia's eyes stayed fixed on one place, Lily's bedroom door. It was half open, and she kept hearing a soft cough coming from inside. A weak little sound, the kind that breaks a person's chest when they hear it. She did not even know the child yet, but something about that cough made her feel worried. When she finally stepped into the room, she paused. The curtains were drawn, the light was dim, and the room felt like it had not been touched by joy in a long time. Toys were stacked neatly in one corner, untouched. A small painting kit sat on a table, the paint dry, and on the bed lay Lily Reeves, a little girl with pale skin and tired eyes. Lily turned slowly when she heard footsteps, and her lips moved into a tiny smile when she saw Mia. It was not a strong smile, not a happy one, just a small, gentle one that looked thankful. Mia walked closer, sitting at the edge of the bed. She touched Lily's hand, and her heart tightened. The child's hand felt cold, too cold for a child in a warm house. "Do you feel any better?" Mia asked softly, her voice calm. Lily shook her head a little. "It hurts," she whispered. "My chest feels heavy." Mia looked around the room, confused. The housekeeper had said the child's sickness had been going on for months, and no doctor had found anything. But the moment Mia stepped inside, she felt something strange. The air in the room felt thick, almost like someone had closed a door that should have stayed open. She took a deep breath, but even her lungs felt tight. Daniel Reeves entered the room soon after. He wore a suit, he looked tired, and his eyes were the eyes of a man who had not slept well in a long time. He stood by the door, watching Lily with pain hidden behind his serious face. Mia stood up when she saw him, but he shook his head. "You do not have to stand," he said in a quiet voice. "Stay with her." His eyes stayed on Lily, and the weakness in his gaze showed how much he carried inside. Losing his wife during childbirth had left a deep crack in him, and now watching his only child grow weaker each day felt like life was punishing him twice. He wanted to help her. He paid for every test, every treatment, every doctor, but nothing ever gave answers. Lily coughed again, a dry, painful sound. Daniel moved closer, touching her forehead. "Do you need anything?" he asked gently. Lily shook her head. "I want to go outside," she whispered. "It hurts less outside." Mia noticed the way Daniel's eyes changed at that. He looked confused, almost surprised. "Does it really feel better outside?" he asked. Lily nodded. "Yes, Papa." Mia stepped closer. "Sir, I can take her outside after breakfast," she said. Fresh air might help her breathe better. Daniel nodded, grateful. "Thank you, Mia," he said softly. When he left the room, Mia helped Lily sit up slowly. The girl's breathing improved the moment they stepped out into the hallway. The difference was small but clear. By the time they reached the garden, Lily looked brighter. She sat on the grass, feeling the sunlight on her skin, and for the first time since Mia arrived, she saw the child smile, a real smile. "Do you like it here?" Mia asked. Lily nodded, picking a small flower. "I feel safe here," she said. Something about those words made Mia pause. A child should feel safe everywhere in her home, not only outside. As Lily played with the flower in her hand, Mia watched her carefully. The child still looked weak, but the heaviness she saw in the bedroom was not here. The garden felt warm, soft, peaceful, nothing like the cold air in the room. When they returned to the house later, Mia noticed it again. The deeper they walked into the hallway, the more Lily's face lost its color. When they entered the bedroom, Lily's shoulders dropped, and her breathing slowed, like the room was pulling something out of her. Mia carried her to the bed gently. As she laid her down, a small wave of cold air touched her hand from under the mattress. She froze. It was quick, gentle, but strange. The window was closed. The room had no fan. Nothing should be blowing cold air like that. She bent down slowly, lifting the edge of the blanket. She did not know why she did it. She just felt something calling her attention. But the moment she got close, her chest tightened. The air smelled different, old, dusty, strange. Her fingers brushed the floor, and she felt something wooden beneath the bed. She pulled back quickly. Her heart felt confused, not scared, just aware. "Lily," she asked softly, "what is under your bed?" The little girl's eyes filled with fear. Her lips trembled. "Please do not check it," she whispered. "Why?" Mia asked gently. "It makes me sick," Lily said. "I feel it calling me in my sleep." Mia swallowed the tight feeling in her throat. She touched Lily's cheek softly. "I am here," she said. "Nothing will hurt you." But inside her heart, she knew something was wrong. Something was hiding in that room. Something she needed to face. Not today. Not yet. But soon. Because if she did not look under that bed, something terrible might happen to Lily. Something they might not be able to fix tomorrow. The night came slowly over the Reeves mansion, covering the rooms in a deep quiet. Mia sat beside Lily's bed, watching the little girl struggle to sleep. Even though she had spent hours outside in the garden and looked a little stronger, the moment she returned to this room, her breathing became tight again. Her small chest moved up and down with effort, her hands curled weakly around the blanket, and her lips whispered soft cries in her dreams. Mia kept adjusting the blanket, rubbing Lily's arm gently, trying to calm her. But something inside Mia felt restless. The strange cold she felt earlier under the bed kept bothering her. She tried to push the thought away, telling herself she was overthinking, but Lily's trembling body reminded her that something was wrong. The hallway lights were off, and the only sound in the house was the ticking of the large clock downstairs. It echoed through the walls, slow and heavy, each tick sounding louder as the night grew deeper. Mia looked around the dark room, her eyes stopping on the space under the bed. Even in the dim light, that space felt darker than it should. Not normal darkness, but something heavier. The kind of darkness that did not belong in a child's room. Lily suddenly gasped, her body shaking. Mia quickly leaned forward. "It is all right," she whispered, touching the girl's forehead. "I am here, Lily. I am here." Lily's eyes stayed closed, but she whispered something that made Mia's skin grow cold. "It keeps calling me." Mia's heart dropped. "What keeps calling you?" she asked, her voice shaking a little. Lily shook her head as if she was scared to speak. "The thing under the bed," she whispered. "It wants me." Mia held Lily close, her worry rising. A child this sick should be thinking about toys and stories, not something calling her from beneath a bed. Mia rubbed Lily's back gently, trying to calm her, but her own breathing had become slow and uneasy. Minutes turned into a long hour, and finally, Lily drifted into a deeper sleep. Her breathing was still heavy, but steadier than before. Mia watched her carefully, afraid to step away, afraid that the little girl might struggle again the moment she closed her eyes. When Lily finally rested, Mia walked quietly to the window and pulled the curtain aside. The moonlight filled part of the room, giving her a better view. She looked back at the bed, her eyes returning to the space underneath. In the soft moonlight, she saw a faint outline. Not clear, not sharp, just a shadow of something wooden. Her heart tightened again. She walked closer, her feet slow, each step careful. She knelt beside the bed, feeling the cold air touch her skin once more. The air under the bed felt different from the rest of the room. Heavier, older, like it came from another time. Mia hesitated, her hand shaking a little. Then she lifted the edge of the blanket slowly. The moment she opened the space, a strong wave of cold air rose, hitting her face. It felt unnatural, too cold for a warm house. She pulled back slightly, breathing out in shock. She did not know what she expected, but the cold made her chest feel tight. She gathered courage and leaned down again. This time she saw it clearly. A wooden shape covered in dust, a small chest, old, dark, and strange. Part of it was wrapped in worn cloth, and the rest looked scratched and chipped. It did not belong in a child's room. It did not belong under any bed. It looked like something from another world, something forgotten, something that carried stories no one wanted to talk about. She slowly backed away, her hands shaking. Her mind felt torn. She wanted to pull the chest out, but another part of her felt scared of what she might find. She stood up, breathing hard, trying to calm the fear rising inside her chest. She took a step back, then another, and sat on the edge of the bed. Her thoughts rushed through her head, but she reminded herself of Lily. The child was the reason she was here. If something in this room was hurting her, Mia had to do something. She had to be strong. The door opened slowly, and Daniel Reeves stepped in. He was still dressed in the same suit from earlier, his tie loose, his eyes tired. He had been working downstairs but could not rest. The pain of seeing his daughter suffer had drained him for months. When he saw Mia sitting near the bed, he gave a quiet nod. "How is she?" he asked softly. Mia swallowed. "She is sleeping now," she said, but she was trembling again. Daniel looked at his daughter, his face filled with sadness. "Every night," he whispered, "every night she gets worse." Mia hesitated. She wanted to tell him what she found, but something held her back. She did not want to sound foolish. She did not want him to think she believed in strange things. She bit her lip and looked at the floor. "Sir," she said slowly, "can I ask something?" Daniel turned to her. "Of course." "Did anything ever happen in this room?" she asked, her voice careful. "Anything the doctors should know about?" Daniel frowned, confused. "What do you mean? Something does not feel right here," Mia said gently. "Lily is better outside, but the moment she enters this room, her body becomes weak." Daniel's face tightened with worry. He looked around the room as if searching for answers he had ignored for a long time. He sighed deeply and sat in the chair near the bed. "This room used to belong to my wife's mother," he said, "before Lily was born." Mia looked at him slowly. "Your mother-in-law." Daniel nodded. "She believed in old spiritual things," he said. "Charms, herbs, strange boxes. When Lily was born, she tried to place some items around the room to protect her. I did not believe in any of it. I asked the staff to remove everything. I thought they did." Mia's chest tightened. "Sir," she whispered, "I think something might still be here." Daniel looked at her sharply, his worry rising. Mia pointed slowly toward the bed. "I think I saw something under there." Daniel stood up immediately and walked to the bed, his body tense. He bent down, lifted the blanket, and froze. A long moment passed where he did not speak, he did not move, he only stared. Mia stepped beside him, her breathing calm but heavy. They both knew it. Something under that bed had been waiting for a long time, and tonight they had finally found it. The room felt colder the moment Daniel stared under the bed. His eyes did not blink, his shoulders grew tight, and his breath slowed. Mia stood close behind him, watching his hands tremble slightly as he reached deeper into the darkness. When his fingers touched the wooden surface, he pulled back fast, as if the box had burned him. He swallowed hard, his face turning pale. "That box," he whispered. "It should not be here." Mia knelt beside him, her voice calm. "Sir, let us take it out carefully," she said. Daniel hesitated for a long moment, then nodded. Together, they reached under and slowly dragged the wooden chest from the shadows. Dust rose into the air, and a cold smell filled the room, the kind of smell that did not come from anything normal. The chest looked old, older than anything Mia had seen in the mansion. Its corners were worn, its surface scratched, and some parts were wrapped in faded cloth. A thin rope tied around it looked fragile, like it had been tied many years ago. Lily moved a little on the bed, letting out a small, painful sound. Mia rushed to her side instantly, touching her forehead. The cold on Lily's skin felt stronger than before, as if the box had been draining something from her for a long time. Daniel stood with his arms crossed, fear and confusion mixing on his face. "This belonged to my mother-in-law," he said quietly. "She kept things like this in her house." Mia looked at him with concern. "Why would it be under Lily's bed?" she asked. Daniel shook his head slowly. "I do not know," he said. "She passed away before Lily could grow. She never even held Lily. I told the staff to clear everything, to remove all her items. Someone brought this back." Mia lifted the chest slightly, feeling the weight. It was heavier than it looked. She placed it on the floor gently, her hands careful. The rope around it looked old but strong, tied many years ago with intention. "Sir," Mia said softly, "we need to open it." Daniel stepped back a little, his expression tight. "I have not seen this box in years," he said. "I do not know what is inside." Mia nodded. "But it is hurting Lily," she said. "We cannot ignore it." The weight of her words sank into him. Daniel looked at his daughter, lying weak and pale on the bed, struggling to breathe even in her sleep. His face softened, his fear turning into determination. He nodded again. "Open it," he said quietly. Mia knelt on the floor, her hands steady. She untied the rope slowly, trying not to break it. When she pulled the cloth away, dust fell like powder. The lid of the chest creaked when she lifted it, the sound sharp and unsettling in the quiet room. Inside, the items looked old and strange. A faded picture lay at the top, showing a woman with stern eyes, a woman who looked nothing like warmth. Mia guessed it was Daniel's mother-in-law. Next to the picture were dried herbs tied together, now brown and brittle. A rusted locket sat beside them, its chain tangled like it had been kept for many years. Strange parchment papers were folded neatly, covered in symbols Mia did not understand, and a rosary with missing beads lay at the corner of the chest. As the lid opened fully, a rush of cold air spread through the room, stronger than before. The lights flickered for a moment, then steadied again. Lily coughed suddenly, her body shaking hard. Mia dropped the box lid and ran to her, holding her carefully. "Breathe, Lily," she whispered. "I am here." Daniel moved quickly to the other side of the bed, touching his daughter's hand. "Stay with us," he said softly. "You are safe." Lily opened her eyes a little, her voice weak. "It hurts," she whispered. "Please take it away." Mia looked at Daniel with urgency. "We have to remove the box from this room now," she said. Daniel nodded immediately. He lifted the chest with both hands, his arms shaking slightly under its weight. The moment it left the floor, the cold feeling in the room changed. The air became lighter, the heaviness less sharp. Lily's breathing softened, her body relaxing slowly, as if something that had been pulling her down was finally letting go. Daniel stepped into the hallway with the chest, and the moment he crossed the doorway, Lily let out a deep breath, a breath that sounded almost normal. Mia placed a hand on her chest, feeling the small, steady movement. "You are safe now," Mia whispered to her. Daniel returned after placing the box on a table downstairs. He closed Lily's bedroom door gently behind him and looked at Mia with disbelief. "How?" he whispered. "How could something like that affect her?" Mia shook her head. "I do not know," she said softly. "But something in that box was not good for her." Daniel sat down slowly, his eyes fixed on the floor. "I ignored too much," he said. "I kept telling myself money could fix her. I kept working, thinking I was doing the right thing. But she was suffering right in front of me." Mia moved closer and placed a hand on his shoulder gently. "You are not a bad father," she said. "You are scared. Anyone would be scared." He looked at her, his eyes full of pain. "I lost my wife in this room," he said. "This room holds too much. Maybe I did not want to face anything here." Mia nodded with understanding. "We can move Lily to another room for now," she said. "A place with no memories, where she can breathe." Daniel agreed instantly. Together, they lifted Lily gently, supporting her like she was made of glass. Lily leaned her head on Mia's shoulder, her breathing calm now, her body warm for the first time in days. As they walked to the guest room, Mia felt Lily's small hand grip her shirt gently. "Do not leave me," Lily whispered. "I will not," Mia said softly. "You are safe." They settled her in the new room, where the air felt light, soft, and warm. Lily fell asleep almost immediately, her face peaceful, her lips no longer trembling. Daniel watched her quietly, a tear slipping down his cheek before he wiped it away. "Thank you," he whispered to Mia. "You saved her." Mia looked at Lily with gentle eyes. "We are not done yet," she said. "We still need to know who placed that box under her bed." Daniel looked toward the dark hallway, his face growing serious. Someone in that house knew more than they were saying, and the truth was waiting to be found. The next morning came with soft sunlight touching the windows of the guest room, and for the first time in many months, Lily opened her eyes without crying or gasping for breath. Her face looked brighter, her cheeks carried a small hint of color, and her body seemed lighter. Mia sat beside her bed, watching her sleep with calm eyes, thankful that the night had passed without fear. Daniel walked into the room quietly, his steps slow, his heart full of hope he had not felt in a long time. When he saw Lily sleeping peacefully, he covered his mouth with his hand, holding back the heavy breath that rose in his chest. He moved closer, touching her forehead gently. It felt warm, not cold, not weak, not drained. "She looks better," he whispered. Mia nodded. "Her breathing was steady all night," she said softly. "No crying, no shaking." Daniel closed his eyes for a moment, relief washing through him. "I cannot believe it," he said. "One night away from that room, and she is already stronger." Mia looked toward the hallway. "Sir," she said, "we need to talk about that box." Daniel sighed, his eyes darkening. "I put it in my study," he said. "I could not sleep. I kept thinking about it." "Did you open the papers inside?" Mia asked. Daniel shook his head. "I could not," he said quietly. "I felt sick the moment I touched them. My mother-in-law was a difficult woman. She believed in strange things. She hated me for marrying her daughter. She believed Lily needed protection from me, not love." Mia frowned gently. "But she is gone," she said. "Someone else placed the box under the bed." Daniel nodded slowly. "I know," he said, "and that is what scares me." A soft sound pulled their attention. Lily moved a little, blinking slowly as she woke up. Her eyes opened wider when she saw them. She smiled, a real warm smile that filled the room with something bright. "Good morning," she whispered with a soft voice. Mia leaned down and kissed her forehead. Good morning, sweetheart. Daniel sat on the edge of the bed. How do you feel? He asked. Lily touched her chest gently. Light, she said. Like something is gone. Mia and Daniel exchanged a look. It was clear. The box had been hurting her. No doctor could have found that inside her room. No one would have checked under a bed for danger. Can I eat breakfast? Lily asked. I am hungry. Daniel let out a small laugh, the sound shaking with emotion. Yes, he whispered. You can eat anything you want. Mia helped Lily sit up slowly, still protective, still careful. She lifted her into her arms and carried her gently to the dining room. Lily held onto Mia's shoulder, her tiny fingers relaxed, her breathing peaceful. The dining room felt warm, the sunlight brighter than before. Lily ate slowly but happily, smiling as she tasted her food. Mia sat beside her, watching every small movement with hope. Daniel stood by the window, looking out at the garden, his thoughts heavy. After a long moment, he turned to Mia. I want to check the box again, he said. I want to understand why it was under her bed. Mia nodded. I will come with you, she said. Lily looked up, her eyes worried. Do not go far, she whispered. Mia touched her cheek. We are close, she said softly. We will be right in the next room. Daniel kissed Lily's forehead and walked toward his study with Mia following close behind. When they entered, the first thing they noticed was the box on the table. The room itself felt normal, but the air near the box felt heavy, the same heaviness they felt in Lily's bedroom. Daniel took a deep breath and opened the lid again. The picture of his mother-in-law stared up at him, her eyes sharp, cold, filled with dislike even in the old photograph. He set it aside gently. Mia lifted the rusted locket. Does this belong to her? She asked. Daniel nodded. She wore it every day, he said. She believed it protected her. Mia set it down. But why hide it under Lily's bed? She asked. Daniel picked up the parchment papers with careful fingers. The symbols on them looked old, drawn with dark ink, some edges burned slightly. He did not understand any of it, but the sight of the papers made his chest feel tight. She believed in binding charms, he said slowly. She believed these things kept danger away. Mia looked at him, her voice soft but firm. Or kept someone weak, she said. Daniel froze. The idea settled into the room slowly, frightening both of them. This was never meant to protect Lily, Mia whispered. It was meant to drain her. Daniel felt pain hit his face like a deep cut. He closed the chest quickly, unable to look at it anymore. Sir, Mia said quietly, someone knew this box could hurt her. Someone placed it there on purpose. Daniel gripped the edge of the table, his knuckles white. But who? He asked. Who would want to hurt a child? Mia shook her head. Maybe someone who thought they were doing something right, she said. Or someone who believed the old woman's ways. The house suddenly felt different. The hallways felt too long, the corners too dark, the silence too sharp. Daniel walked to Lily's guest room door and opened it quietly. Lily sat on the bed, drawing a picture with soft-colored pencils. Her face was calm, her smile light. She looked healthier than she had in months. Mia stepped beside Daniel. She is healing, she said softly. Daniel nodded, swallowing emotion. Thanks to you, he said. You saved my child. Mia looked down gently. We both saved her, she said. What matters now is keeping her safe. Daniel glanced down the hallway. I will take that box far from this house, he said. I will lock it away where it can never hurt her again. Mia nodded. That is the right thing. Lily looked up and smiled at them. Are you staying with me, Mia? She asked softly. Mia walked to the bed and hugged her gently. I am not going anywhere, she whispered. You are safe now. Daniel watched them, his heart full of gratitude. He made a silent promise to himself, a promise to be present, to protect Lily with more than money, to heal the home he had allowed to fall into sadness. The mystery of who placed the box remained, but Daniel no longer cared. What mattered most was Lily. She was breathing. She was healing. She was alive. And with Mia's help, the Reeves home finally felt warm again. Dear viewers, this story reminds us that sometimes the biggest danger is not outside, but inside the places we trust. Little Lily suffered for many months, not because she was weak, but because no one looked deep enough to see what was hurting her. When Mia came into that house with a calm heart and careful eyes, she saw what others missed. She listened, she cared, she paid attention, and that simple act of looking closer saved a child's life. This story teaches us that love can heal what money cannot fix. It teaches us that every child needs someone who truly sees them, someone who listens to their pain, someone who stands by them in the dark moments. Daniel learned that being a parent is more than providing things. It is being present, being gentle, and choosing to face the truth even when it hurts. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Comment where you are watching from, and tell us what you learned from this story. If you want more emotional stories like this, comment "more stories," and you will be the first to get the next touching story. Before you go, here are 3 questions you can answer in the comments. 1. What do you think truly caused Lily's sickness? Was it the box or the fear it created? 2. Do you believe someone in the mansion placed the box under her bed, and why? 3. What lesson did you take from Mia's courage and Daniel's change? We cannot wait to read your answers. Thank you for watching, and stay blessed.